All right, guys and gals and whatever other genders exist. I don't know. I watched The Last of Us season 2. So the first bit of this video is going to be a spoiler-free review where I'm just going to give my holistic thoughts on the season for those of you who haven't checked it out yet and are wondering if it's worthwhile. And then the last bit of this video is going to be a spoilery discussion of the finale episode. I will also be spoiling the game during that section because I don't feel like I don't feel like talking around it. So the last bit of this video is a safe space for game players and show watchers. But if you're just a show watcher, I hate you. Nobody loves you. So leave during that section. What do I think of the season? I think that it is a very good season of television. That being said, I don't love it as an adaptation of The Last of Us Part 2. Now, I will just say this. I'll be honest. I'll be upfront. The Last of Us Part 2 is my favorite piece of media of all time. I like it more than any movie. I like it more than any TV show. I like it more than any radio play. I like it more than any one-man stage performance. I just think it's absolutely incredible. And like the reality is that I have never been as emotionally impacted as The Last of Us Part 2. So I mean that is where I come from it, you know? It would be like if they tried to remake Star Wars and like people that fucking watched the original trilogy when they were like 5 and they were like mind blown and it's like their favorite thing ever. It's like, yeah, a remake of Star Wars is never going to match what what that did to them when they were a child. I wasn't a child when I played The Last of Us Part 2, but it's a similar thing. But I really want to emphasize this. It's not that they changed things from The Last of Us Part 2. I don't care necessarily about things not being exactly the same. I don't care about artists taking artistic chances and interpreting things there in their own way. Like, I'm totally cool with all of that. My main problem is that I feel like The Last of Us Part 2, the game, takes you on a very specific journey. It takes you on a specific journey and it reveals things to you and it shows things to you at very specific points in time that I think are important to the story that it's telling. The Last of Us Season 2, I think, does things in different order than the game, and that completely just takes away from the journey of The Last of Us Part 2. Like, it's a fundamentally different show, I feel like. No, but that might be too far, but it is different. And in my opinion, The Last of Us Part 2, the game, is more special. I think it's more unique. I think it's more challenging. And I love that about it. I think that The Last of Us Season 2, definitely challenging in its own right. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's like an easy watch or anything like that, but I feel like it's making changes in order to try to appeal to like the mass audiences, and in an attempt to not have as strong of a negative reaction as the game did, which I understand, but I don't respect. But either way, I mean, look, that's just how I feel as someone who's The Last of Us Part 2 is his favorite game of all time. At the end of the day, it's still a really good season of television. You know, I've been watching like reaction videos of people who have never played the game, and like all of the emotional beats are hitting them, right? So like it's not like it's not going to hit for you if you haven't played the game, right? Like you're just going to see it and it's just going to be a TV show and you're not even going to have the same perspective as me. So it's fine, whatever. I think that Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey are great. I think that they're as good as they were in season 1. Low key, Isabella Merced, she plays a character called Dina. I think she might be the MVP of the season. I feel like she's not getting enough flowers for her performance. Especially, I actually like her character in the show more than I do in the game, which is impressive. But yeah, I don't want to say too much here because you should not have, either way. if you're watching the show first or if you're playing the game first, you don't want the story spoiled for you. So just go and watch it. I like it's worth a watch for sure. Or honestly, I'll say this. If you play games, if you are a gamer, if that's something that you're willing to do, I would actually play The Last of Us Part 2. I think that is such a unique experience that I would like, whereas for the first season, I was like, yeah, I mean, you can play the game or watch the show. I think they're pretty comparable. I would, yeah, I just think The Last of Us Part 2 is such a unique experience. I would encourage people to play the game before watching the show. But I mean, if you're just somebody that doesn't like video games, right? You know, if you're like a 70-year-old man who's never fucking, who doesn't even know how to operate a computer, then yeah, you're just going to watch the show. But if you're willing and able, play the game first. But yeah, either way, I like it. Let's get into the spoiler discussion for the final episode. So it starts off with Jesse getting the arrow out of Dina's leg. Very gruesome scene. Again, Isabella Merced, so good. Like her performance and like the nuances of her like telling Jesse not to do things because she's pregnant, and then we later find out that Jesse susses that out. She's fucking great. I don't know. I feel like she's not getting enough flowers for how good she is in this show. Next scene, we get Ellie all bruised up. This is an iconic shot from the game. Ellie getting bruised up is a symbolism for her losing her innocence, and we've also lost our innocence because we are Ellie, right? Or are we Joel? Did we die to protect our daughter, or did we see our father die because he protected us? What point of view is this story from? I don't know. But either way, we're Ellie. I'll just say we're Ellie because we also lost our innocence, because as Ellie lost herself in brutalizing Nora, we also lost ourselves because we wanted her to do that. We wanted her to get revenge for Joel. So we are Ellie. We lost our innocence. That's great analysis, guys. I'm so good at this shit. We also see Ellie deal with her trauma with Nora. I think Bella Ramsey's performance here is also spectacular. Like seeing like the genuine regret or like at the very least conflictedness in her performance, I think is really great. We also see her like tell Dina like the truth, I guess, about why they did what they did. Not that Ellie's been keeping this from her, but she just found out, I guess. Or wait. Yeah, that's right. Sorry. I was trying to remember. Do I remember the story? Yeah. Because when Ellie is fighting Nora, I think that's when she finds out that those are the people from the Fireflies, right? I think. Yeah, I think I'm right about that. But yeah, and then she tells Dina the story, and again, Isabella Merced, she's so fucking good. Like, she doesn't say anything, but you can just tell from her performance and the way her face very subtly moves and changes expression. She's going like, oh, this is not worth dying for. Like, Joel low-key had what he had coming. Let's get the fuck home. I got a baby. I'm not actually risking my life for this. It's crazy seeing that. And that Isabella Merced like conveying all of those complex emotions, but without actually saying it. Good stuff. And yeah, I love all of Ellie and Jesse's interactions, because it's like, again, listen, I think it's a really well written show and game. The Last of Us Part 2 is just good. Okay, if you disagree, you're wrong, and you're gay. You're gayer than Ellie. Because I really love how, like, and this is the thing that this show does like uniquely from the game, where it's like they do make Ellie like a little unlikable, right? Like, or to a lot of people, at least from what I've seen, like very unlikable. And it's like they make Jesse sort of like the beacon of rationality. Let me actually skip all the way over here. But then like once we get to like this scene, it's like you then remember it's like, but fuck, wait. We are acting as irrational, like we feel as irrationally for Ellie because we despise the the people that killed Joel just as much as Ellie does. So it's like we want her to we want her to go out and get revenge. Like at all costs. And so it's like at first like you're siding more with Jesse in their arguments, but then you realize like, shit, but we really want to get vengeance for Joel. I don't know. I think the way that they craft the story is really good, but you're gay if you disagree. If you disagree. But yeah, this is also. I don't think this is in the game. This scene here where they let the Scar die. Oh wait, sorry. I wanted to make another point about Jesse. Because I remember in the episode where Ellie like finds out that Dina's pregnant, and she says the line of like, "I'm gonna be a dad now." Now look, to be fair, I haven't actually seen any of these videos, but like I've seen the thumbnails, I've seen like some Twitter discussion, I think so. It seems like a lot of people are like pissing and shitting their pants over that scene. And look, is it a little weird? Yeah. Like listen, I'm not too well versed in like LGBTQ stuff. Is that a thing where like lesbians call their kids, where they call themselves fathers? Are there gay men that call themselves mothers? I don't know. Is it weird? Yeah, but I at the end of the day, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. Like I just don't care that much. But I remember I said the one thing that I thought was kind of weird was it felt like Jesse was like getting cucked out of the relationship, where it was like, bro, like what are you guys talking about? Like Jesse's still there. He is the father. And I remember like I was gonna reserve my criticism until we see Jesse's reaction to finding out that he's a father. Because and I was waiting for I guess this episode, because once Jesse finds out that he's a father, I actually super appreciate that they have Jesse have like the proper agency, and he's like, I'm a dad now. We are getting the fuck back home. I'm done dealing with your bullshit, Ellie. And like I appreciate that they do that, because it's like, I don't know, like, because you're seeing all the typical discourse of like, oh, Last of Us went woke, now it's going broke. But I feel like this season has actually done a really good job of balancing this stuff out, where it's like they're not demonizing conservatives. Like Seth is like he would be like the typical like, oh, he's a bad conservative guy, but it's like they actually portrayed him really well. It's like, oh, they're so radical with their leftist ideology. Oh my gosh, Ellie's calling herself a dad. That's so woke and cringe. But then they portray Jesse well, pushing back against her, establishing himself as a father who's now like his whole motivation is protecting his child. Like that's very traditional. Like I don't know. I feel like to attack this show for being overly woke, I just think is cringe and gay. Anyways, back to the scene about where the kid Scar they left him to die. I thought this was a really good scene because it actually made me think of like the second half of the game, right, where Abby takes on Lev, because Jesse talks about his community, about how the kid is not a part of his community, and he's about his community over everything, which, kind of a, not an understandable moral philosophy, but not necessarily the most, maybe not necessarily like the most nice one, I guess I'll say. And I kind of like how we like Jesse, but later on we're going to see Abby, this character that we hate, she does turn against her community, right? When she finds Lev and Yara, her name is Yara, right? When she finds Lev and Yara, and she decides to help them in opposition to her community, right? When she takes a stand, I think it's interesting that, like, I don't think this was in the game, But I really like this scene because it is very much like an inverse of what we see happen with Abby. And I guess we kind of see that we also get more of Ellie's philosophy, right? Where she's like it's not that she doesn't care about her community, but she will do anything for the people closest to her. Which is maybe foolish in a lot of places, but also admirable. So I like all the different philosophies in The Last of Us Part 2. I like the scene with Isaac too, where they kind of talk about how like Isaac seemingly has an emotional attachment to Abby. I can't remember in the game. I don't think they explored that too much actually. But I'll be interested to see in season 2 if we actually see their relationship explored more. Like Isaac tries to make it seem like it's like, I don't actually like love her or anything. I don't actually care about her. I just think that she'll be a good replacement as a leader. I wonder if we'll see in season 2 that he actually does see Abby as somewhat of a daughter figure. Which, yeah, like that's one of the things I'm most excited about is them fleshing out Isaac more in season 2. I don't know, this scene was interesting where Jesse, again, like if they had made Jesse just like a full-on cuck, I think I would have really seen that as a negative thing. I'm trying to remember there was a show where they handled this kind of thing poorly, but I don't remember what it is. But like the fact that Jesse is like very confident and very like assured of himself, and he's a very like strong character where he just like lays things out plainly, kind of reminds me of Gambit actually in X-Men 97, where even like Rogue is kind of doing like not betraying him, but she's being shitty towards Gambit, right? what she does with Magneto. Dina's being shitty towards Jesse by doing what she's doing with Ellie and not telling him about the baby. But he's just like very confident in who he is, and he's able to like very rationally be like, yeah, I mean, listen, I don't love her nearly as much as you guys love each other. I don't know. I really like the way that they handled Jesse, and it makes me not dislike that episode where Ellie finds out about the baby at all, really. And now that I have this context and that they're able to have stuck the landing here. Yeah. So I guess going back to this scene, we see that Ellie decides to not save Tommy. Like that's taken straight out of the game. And I guess I'll say this as well. Like Ellie being more immature than she is in the game, I actually don't mind it. It's different from the game, but it's a change that doesn't make the story worse necessarily. Like she is immature, and people call her out on it, and like that's the other thing, right? Like if she was immature, but the show is like portraying that as like a good thing, then that would be bad writing. But she is immature. She is selfish. She is kind of an asshole. But other characters call her out on that. So I don't see that as bad writing. We also see Ellie almost get lynched and sliced open. I don't think that happens in the game, does it? I don't think this scene happens in the game. I could be wrong, though. I love seeing that kid go like, she's like, kid, yeah, I'm not a wolf, tell them. And the kid is just like, or some shit like that. Listen, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. It does make me think about like the whole like Palestine and Israel thing, right? Where like a lot of people interpret the WLF to represent like the IDF, and they interpret the scars to represent the Palestinians. And this scene did make me think of the whole thing of like, you know, like a common argument against pro-Palestinian people are like, guys, like Hamas would literally like lynch you and like murder you, right? And it's like you have all this sympathy for them, and they are very much showing Ellie. She had sympathy for the kid earlier, and now these same people are like are just like brutally murdering her without even like trying to like vet if she actually is a wolf or not. I just found that very interesting. But and of course, like I understand the other sentiment from like the pro-Palestinian crowd, which is like, hey, that doesn't mean that we're okay with a genocide, right? Like that's obviously like a totally valid comeback as well. Not trying to tell you what you should think about that conflict that I don't know much about. So we're just moving on. But I just thought it was relevant to bring up here. By the way, I will also mention I've seen an interview with Neil Druckmann where he's just like, this is not meant to be the Israel and Palestine conflict. Like, yes, I like obviously like that is a thing that I think about and it did inspire me, but I'm not trying to directly make analogies or anything like that. But I kind of don't believe him. But that is what he said. We also get the scene where Ellie kills Mel and Owen. And damn, I think that they actually they made it worse in the show, cuz if I remember correctly in the game Owen tries to take the gun away from Ellie. And then Ellie ends up shooting Owen. And then Mel like runs at her with a knife. And then Ellie like ends up like turning the knife around and like cutting through Mel's throat. And then she notices that she's pregnant and she starts throwing up. In the show, they have Ellie end up just like shooting Owen, and then one of the bullets grazes Mel's neck, and then we actually see Mel like pleading with Ellie as she's dying, trying to convince her to like, I guess, perform a fucking C-section. That's crazy. Like, that was actually harrowing to watch. I was like, Jesus Christ. And her like slowly losing consciousness, and then Ellie just like not even trying. It's like, oh, that's crazy. I'm not gonna lie, it was also especially emotional for me because my sister is currently pregnant and like I'm about to have a nephew. Like that was a rough watch. That was just a rough watch. That's all I can say, man. Jesus. But I mean, it was a phenomenal scene. Also, shout out to the Mel actress. Like, her performance when she was losing consciousness was crazy. Really good stuff. This was also a really great scene where like Jesse and Ellie sort of come to an understanding, where like they come to understand each other's perspectives, and they're friends again until they're not, because Abby comes in, and you know, this is very accurate to the game where Ellie and Jesse, they hear like gunshots, so they run off to help Tommy. And then as Jesse's running through the door, gets shot in the head. And then this is also interesting because I was looking for it. I remember correctly in the game, Lev shoots Tommy with an arrow. We don't see the arrow, but it could just be like being hidden by his body. They could just be doing cinematography stuff. I imagine that's what this is, and I do think in season 2, like we'll see Lev shoot the arrow. So yeah, I'm very interested to see how that all plays out. And then we actually end how that the first half of the game ends, right? With the reveal that we're about to follow Abby. And yeah, I gotta say, when we first started the season, I actually was thinking that they were going to tell the story in a more chronological order, where they're showing us Abby's perspective along with Ellie's perspective. And yeah, it didn't really register for me until like a couple episodes ago, where I was like, hold on, we're almost wrapped up with the season and we have not gone back to Ellie. And yeah, now we have the confirmation that they actually are following the chronological storytelling a lot more closely than I initially thought when they told us Abby's perspective. Which again, I think the game is more interesting and more unique and more special because it has you follow Ellie, or it has you because you are Ellie because you're playing the game. You are Ellie. It has you going getting vengeance for Joel, fully determined, not even considering Abby's perspective. And then at the second half of the game, you're just bitch slapped with Abby's motivations, and you're like, ah, fuck. All right. Well, shit. You know, I just think that that's a more interesting story. I think it's a more special story. I think it's a more unique story. But the show did what it did, and it is what it is. It's fine. So yeah, overall, I really like the season. I think it's very good. I feel like is it better or worse than season 1? This and the next season are going to be so intertwined that it's hard for I can't say that this season necessarily stands on its own, because we have to this story doesn't end until the next season. So I'm not going to say that it's better than season 1 or anything. And I will say probably honestly my biggest criticism of all of this is just that we have to now wait like 2 years at least for the next season, because modern day TV sucks and they don't have yearly seasons, even though TV used to do that with like double the episodes. I don't understand what happened to TV. I guess production value has gone up. Maybe that's the real reason. But I feel like they should have Lord of the Rings this. They should have just gone to HBO and been like, hey, listen, let us just shoot like whatever, like 17 episodes, whatever I don't know how many episodes are going to be in season 2. Let us just shoot for like half a year, 17 episodes. Let's just shoot them all at once, and let's release the next 2 seasons annually. I really wish they would have done that, because I don't know, man. If I hadn't played the game and this is how this ends, I feel like I might be a little pissed off. I don't know. Like people were already pissed off when they had the rest of the game to play through, when they realized that they were going to have to play as Abby. I'm so fascinated to see what non-game players are going to feel like when they realize that they're going to follow Abby for the next season, and they have to sit with that for like 2 years. I'm so curious to see how they're going to feel. But yeah, either way, my thoughts are my thoughts. Your thoughts are your thoughts. If your thoughts disagree with my thoughts, then you're wrong. And you are a homosexual. But let me know what they are nonetheless in the comments down below. Subscribe, like the video, check out my main channel where I actually put effort into my content. I edit it. This is all unedited. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.